Beloved chosen one, pause for a moment. Heaven has stilled everything around you to speak directly into your spirit. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. This is divine alignment. You've been walking through a test you didn't know was a test, and yet you passed it. Every silent battle, every quiet heartbreak, every time you chose faith over fear, heaven counted it. You thought you were being punished, but you were being prepared. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every door that refused to open was heaven's classroom, disguised as rejection. You kept showing up, even when no one was clapping. You loved when you had every reason to grow bitter. You stayed humble when you could have proven yourself. That was the test, and you passed it without even realizing. The world saw endurance as weakness, but God saw worship. The angels whispered about your perseverance while you cried in the dark, thinking no one noticed. But the divine did. You were being measured not by how loud your praise was, but by how steady your heart remained when the music stopped. Listen carefully. This is not just motivation. This is revelation. The shaking that entered your life wasn't to destroy you, but to separate the real from the temporary. You lost people who couldn't stay where you were going. You were stripped of things that would have anchored you to a lesser destiny. You thought it was loss, but it was divine subtraction. Heaven was making space for the blessing that's now approaching. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 26, verse 2, "Test me, Lord, and try me. Examine my heart and my mind." And that's exactly what happened. Your heart was examined, your motives tested, your love refined. Heaven wasn't watching how strong you were. It was watching how surrendered you'd become. When others turned to shortcuts, you chose integrity. When opportunities came that would have cost your peace, you walked away. That was your final exam, and the results are in. You passed. See, there's a shift occurring in the unseen. The same silence that once tormented you is now being broken by divine announcement. The waiting season is over. Heaven is calling your name in rooms your feet haven't even entered yet. You will soon see that every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, was a setup for this exact moment. Chosen one, you are not behind. You are right on heaven's schedule. The time of obscurity is ending. The stage of visibility is near. God hid you to protect you from premature exposure. If you had been seen too early, the weight of the call would have crushed you. But now you are ready. You've been forged in fire, refined through pain, and purified through patience. So hear this clearly. The blessing you're about to step into will not come by striving, but by alignment. Heaven is not rewarding performance, is honoring endurance. You didn't earn it by perfection. You received it by perseverance. What's coming next will confirm everything that broke you was never meant to destroy you. This is the hour of unveiling. The test was preparation for territory. You've proven that your faith can be trusted. God can now entrust you with influence, with opportunity, with favor that cannot be explained. You are moving from hidden obedience to public favor. The same God who watched your struggle is about to broadcast your victory. So before you move forward, pause and give thanks. Lift your heart, not your anxiety. Lift your worship, not your worry. You have come through the wilderness with your spirit intact, and heaven calls that victory. And now, as a prophetic act of faith, I want you to do something simple but powerful. If this word speaks to your soul, if something inside you knows this is your moment, then declare it publicly. Like this message, share it so others who are walking through their own silent test can hear what you've just heard. Subscribe to stay connected, because this isn't the end of the message, it's the beginning of your new season. Then, in the comments, write this prophetic number, 777. It symbolizes divine completion and perfect alignment. By typing it, you're not just engaging, you're agreeing with heaven's decree that your testing season has ended and your pling season has begun. The test is over. The verdict is divine approval. Now comes the blessing. Chosen one. Remember this. Heaven never wastes pain. Every tear you shed was an offering. Every disappointment a seed for divine promotion. You have been qualified by endurance, not by ease. The next chapter of your life will carry the fragrance of victory that only survivors carry. You are living proof that faith still conquers fire. Now breathe, for the weight has lifted. What's ahead is restoration wrapped in favor, miracles born from endurance, and open doors that no man can shut. Keep walking in humility, for the crown you wear is invisible before it becomes visible. The test is complete, and the reward is already being released over you. Chosen one, there were moments when heaven went silent, and you mistook that silence for absence. You wondered why your prayers seemed to echo back unanswered, why the sky stayed still even when your heart was breaking. But that silence wasn't rejection. It was sacred observation. It was the sound of heaven holding its breath, watching to see if you would still believe when nothing made sense. In those long nights when you questioned everything, the silence spoke louder than words. It was the divine test of trust. Whether you would keep walking when the light disappeared, whether you would stay faithful when the feeling faded. The creator of the universe was not ignoring you. He was measuring how deep your roots truly went. Many around you gave up in their silent seasons. They mistook stillness for abandonment. But you, chosen one, kept whispering prayers into the dark, even when you doubted they were heard. That whisper was your worship. The very fact that you kept showing up in faith while heaven seemed quiet was proof of your maturity. Silence is not the absence of God. It is His classroom of faith. It was in that quiet that your spiritual ears were trained. When the noise of the world was stripped away, the whispers of heaven began to form patterns within your heart. You began to sense rather than hear, to know rather than see. That is how the divine communicates with His chosen ones. Not always in thunder or wind, but in the still, small voice that only the tested can discern. The prophet Elijah learned this truth, and so did you. For while you were searching for answers, heaven was searching for authenticity. While you longed for direction, heaven longed for devotion. The silence you called pain was actually promotion in disguise. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. That is why heaven kept you waiting. Not because the promise was denied, but because the timing had to mature. There are blessings that cannot be released until the vessel is strong enough to hold them. You had to be emptied before you could be filled correctly. The silence was heaven's way of strengthening your capacity. And in that stillness, your character grew deeper roots. You learned to hear without sound, to see without sight, to believe without evidence. That's what separates the chosen from the called. Chosen ones worship in the waiting. You were being prepared to handle weighty things in secret before carrying public glory. Now, when you look back, you'll realize that silence was never empty. It was filled with angelic activity, God rearranging circumstances, aligning people, shifting opportunities, removing distractions, and protecting you from premature exposure. You were being hidden in divine silence so that your blessing could be revealed in divine timing. Every unanswered prayer was not ignored. It was being rewritten. Every not yet was heaven's way of saying, I'm building something bigger. You didn't lose time. You were being synchronized with destiny. And when that synchronization hits, what once took years will happen in moments. So don't resent the silence anymore. It was your training ground, your proving place. God trusted you enough to test you in the quiet. Others needed signs. You needed faith. Others sought recognition. You sought truth. And heaven saw that. Your tears spoke prayers your lips couldn't form. The nights you felt forgotten were actually nights of divine recording. Nothing was wasted, not one sigh, not one lonely drive, not one question that burned inside your chest. Every piece of your silent season was written in heaven's archives, stored as evidence of endurance. Chosen one, this is what you must understand. Silence reveals what applause conceals. When no one was watching, heaven saw the real you. The humble heart that kept believing, the warrior who refused to curse the darkness, the child who trusted the unseen hand. That is why the next season will feel different. The silence has served its purpose. Heaven's observation has concluded, and the results are in your favor. What was once quiet will now become confirmation. Doors that didn't open will suddenly swing wide. People who overlooked you will feel divinely drawn to bless you. The same silence that once tested your faith will now amplify your breakthrough. So rest in this truth. God's silence was never punishment. It was preparation. He trusted you enough to teach you in whispers. He knew that if you could survive divine silence, you would never be shaken by earthly noise. And now that you've proven faithful in stillness, heaven can trust you with sound. Sound of blessing, sound of movement, sound of new beginnings. The silence was not the end of the conversation. It was the pause before heaven spoke your name aloud. Chosen one, you have felt the unseen pressure around you, the heaviness that couldn't be explained, the sudden resistance that rose whenever you stepped closer to your calling. That wasn't coincidence. It was confirmation. The warfare around you wasn't random. It was a signal of your spiritual significance. Darkness only fights what threatens it. Every rejection, every misunderstanding, every betrayal, none of it happened by accident. You became a target because of what you carry. There is an anointing upon you that hell cannot imitate, and it terrifies the kingdom of darkness. That's why you've faced storms that others didn't. You were not under attack because you were weak. You were under attack because you were chosen. You wondered why some friendships dissolved, why people you trusted suddenly turned against you. But what you saw as betrayal was actually spiritual exposure. God allowed certain hearts to reveal themselves so you wouldn't take them into your next season. The battle you faced wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to cleanse your circle. Every time you felt opposition, heaven was training your discernment. You learned to sense danger without needing to see it. You started to recognize when peace lifted, when energy shifted, when something unseen was trying to infiltrate your purpose. That awareness, painful as it was, is now your shield. You no longer walk blindly, you move with divine perception. The Word of God declares in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." You were never fighting people. You were confronting powers. The attacks weren't personal. They were strategic. The enemy hoped you would surrender before you discovered who you really are, but instead of quitting, you prayed harder. Instead of retaliating, you worshiped louder. And that, beloved, broke patterns in the unseen world. Your obedience shifted atmospheres. When you refused to bow to bitterness, darkness lost its grip. When you chose forgiveness over revenge, heaven's armies drew closer. What looked like defeat in the natural was victory in the spiritual. You were being trained in warfare, how to fight not with fists, but with faith. This is why certain doors stayed closed. God wasn't withholding blessings. He was protecting your blessing from contamination. Had he opened them earlier, hidden enemies would have entered with you. You see, the unseen warfare wasn't meant to destroy your destiny. It was meant to define your authority. And now, your authority has been established. Your voice carries weight in the spirit, because it was birthed through battle. You no longer pray from fear. You declare from revelation. The same forces that tried to silence you now tremble when you speak. Your endurance has become your weapon. Remember how many nights you cried, wondering why the pressure wouldn't stop. Those were the nights. Heaven trained your spirit to breathe through battle. You learned to find peace in chaos, faith in fire, and purpose in pain. That's what makes you unshakable now. You've been through storms that would have drowned others, and yet you stand, calm and clothed in light. This is the mystery of the chosen. Their battles are proof of their calling. You don't attract warfare unless you carry something holy. The devil doesn't attack what isn't valuable. So if you felt surrounded, it's because your purpose radiates. You are a walking threat to darkness. Chosen one, lift your head. You are not cursed. You are commissioned. You are not under attack. You are under assignment. The resistance is simply the wind announcing your elevation. Every attempt against you has failed because your foundation is divine. Now, as a prophetic act of agreement, I invite you to comment these 3 words. Light conquers all. Type it as a declaration that you understand what truly happened. The battles were never about destruction. They were about revelation. When you comment those words, you are declaring that your light, refined through warfare, now stands as proof that no darkness can extinguish what God ignited. Because the war that surrounded you was only meant to reveal the warrior within you. The unseen opposition has turned into undeniable confirmation. You are chosen, tested, and trusted. Heaven fought for you. Angels shielded you. And now the battle belongs to victory. When you type, light conquers all, you are not merely commenting. You are releasing a declaration into the atmosphere. Those words carry power. They testify that your spirit refuses to bow to darkness any longer. You are affirming that no matter the depth of the valley, the light within you will always rise stronger. Every letter you write becomes agreement with heaven's truth. Light conquers all means that love wins over bitterness, peace triumphs over chaos, and faith outlasts fear. It's not just a phrase. It's a spiritual statement that aligns your words with divine victory. So write it boldly, chosen one. Let that simple comment echo as your banner in the unseen realm. Light conquers all, and you are living proof of it. Chosen one, while you wept behind closed doors, heaven was not silent. Every sigh, every tear, every moment you held your peace instead of defending yourself was written in the archives of eternity. You thought no one saw, but the divine realm watched closely. Your obedience in secret became your loudest worship. In times when words failed you, your endurance spoke volumes. While others were chasing recognition, you were simply surviving, holding on to faith when nothing made sense. That quiet resilience became your testimony. The heavens do not honor noise. They honor faith that persists in the dark. What you considered small was monumental in the eyes of God. In your moments of deep exhaustion, angels surrounded you. Not to remove the burden, but to strengthen your shoulders to carry it. Heaven's observation room was alive with movement as your name echoed through its halls. The tests you faced weren't meant to destroy you. They were designed to reveal the strength you didn't know you had. You have to understand this. Obedience in silence is the highest form of trust. When you obey without understanding, you demonstrate a level of faith that shakes the unseen realm. The Father doesn't measure your success by outcomes but by obedience. Every time you chose His will over your comfort, the heavens took note. The ancient words recorded in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16, remind us. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. Do you see, chosen one? Even your quiet faithfulness is written. There is a divine record of your endurance. Heaven has a book of remembrance with your name inscribed upon it. The moments you thought were wasted were actually moments heaven was documenting for your vindication. Nothing went unnoticed, not your silence, not your forgiveness, not your worship through tears. When others misunderstood you, angels understood. When people judged your struggle, heaven justified your heart. You may have walked through seasons where you questioned your value, but the entire time, the divine was watching with pride. You stood when others sat. You believed when others mocked. You waited when others rushed ahead. You were being refined and unquiet, but crowned in the Spirit. The unseen watchers of heaven saw how you kept your integrity when temptation came close. They saw how you held your tongue when you could have spoken revenge. They saw how you kept your compassion alive when betrayal should have hardened you. That is what set you apart. Every act of kindness, every hidden sacrifice, every time you prayed for someone who hurt you, it all reached heaven's observation room. Your love became evidence, your forgiveness became testimony, and your tears became intercession for generations you haven't even met yet. This is why the blessing that approaches will be heavy. It carries the weight of every unseen moment. Heaven does not bless casually. It blesses accurately. The reward matches the depth of obedience. That is why what's coming to you will be undeniable. It will silence every critic and glorify the one who never stopped watching. Chosen one, you were never forgotten. You were being documented. Every time you said, "God, I trust you," even when you didn't understand, the sound registered in eternity. Heaven didn't just hear you. It recorded you. The pages of your endurance are filled with divine ink that cannot fade. Now the scroll of remembrance is opening. Heaven is reviewing what was written, and divine justice is being released. The things that broke you are about to bless you. The people who left you will witness what they walked away from. The seasons that drained you will soon overflow with recompense. Do not despise the years of obscurity. They were years of evidence gathering. Every hidden act of faithfulness has been preserved. Heaven is precise. It never forgets what was done in secret. You may not have received applause, but you received something better, recognition from eternity. When you stand before God, He will not recall the moments you succeeded publicly, but the moments you obeyed privately. That is where the true power lies. You are proof that unseen faith still moves unseen worlds. You are not overlooked. You are observed with honor. Chosen one, your name is written, your obedience recorded, your endurance celebrated. The book of remembrance has been opened, and heaven is preparing to release the reward of the faithful. What was once hidden in silence is now preparing to echo through eternity. Heaven has already signed your vindication. The same angels who documented your tears now carry scrolls of blessing with your name sealed upon them. Every quiet victory has become divine evidence that you are worthy of the promise. So stand still, chosen one. The courtroom of heaven has ruled in your favor. The silence is breaking, and the sound of fulfillment is drawing near. Your faith has summoned manifestation. Glory is approaching. Chosen one, the breaking that nearly destroyed you was never meant to end you. It was heaven's way of rebuilding you. You were being reshaped, remolded, and refined for something greater. Every time life cracked around you, the light within began to leak out, revealing what was truly divine about you. The breaking was not your burial. It was your becoming. You see, when clay is in the potter's hands, breaking is never wasteful. The potter knows the exact pressure to apply so the vessel doesn't shatter beyond repair. That's what happened to you. You weren't broken because you were weak. You were broken because you were chosen to hold something holy. Heaven trusted you enough to stretch you without destroying you. In those seasons when you felt like your heart was being crushed, something sacred was forming beneath the surface. The breaking removed pride, impatience, and fear. It stripped away every false layer until only truth remained. God wasn't punishing you. He was purifying you. The fire you endured didn't consume you. It clarified you. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 3, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. This is your promise. The ashes of your pain will be exchanged for beauty. The oil of joy will soon replace your sorrow. And that garment of praise? It will fit perfectly because it's been tailored by your tears. Every heartbreak was stitching something glorious in your soul. Chosen one, when you look back, you'll see that every disappointment was redirection. You weren't losing, you were being led. The road that broke you was the same road that prepared you. Without the breaking, you would never have discovered your depth. Without the crushing, you wouldn't carry the fragrance of compassion that now rests upon your life. You've learned something few understand. Broken things in God's hands become sacred tools. When you surrendered your pain, He turned it into purpose. When you offered your heart's fragments, He shaped them into healing for others. You became a living sermon, a story that speaks even when you're silent. Now that you've been refined by fire, your glow carries weight. People will be drawn to the warmth of your endurance, not because you boast of victory, but because your scars speak of grace. You are proof that survival is not the end of the story. Transformation is. And as you listen now, I want you to feel something gentle in your spirit, a stirring of gratitude. If this message has spoken to your heart, if you felt seen and strengthened, I invite you to respond. Not out of pressure, but out of resonance. Just as a candle shares its flame without losing its light. When you like this message, you help the flame travel farther. When you share, you let another soul glimpse the glow that once found you in darkness. When you subscribe, you plant your roots beside this river of words, so that hope keeps flowing to you, week after week. And if your spirit ever whispers to give, let that be between you and heaven. Donating is not a demand. It is a sacred echo, like pouring a drop of oil back into the lamp that lit your night. You are not paying for words. You are partnering with purpose, fueling the light that reaches unseen hearts. There is no pressure here. You are already loved, already blessed, already part of this unfolding miracle. But if your heart stirs, then every seed of generosity, small or great, becomes a spark that ignites another soul's dawn. Whether you give through prayer, kind words, or a small offering, each act becomes a golden thread that weaves the next chapter of light. You're not funding content. You're building cathedrals of courage in unseen hearts. So, if this word reminded you of your strength, if you felt the weight of hope returning, like this message, share it forward and subscribe to stay within this current of grace. And if gratitude rises within, let your giving be a whisper of worship, not a duty, but a dance between you and God. You are not financing a message. You are fueling a movement of hope. Every act of love, every share, every gift becomes part of a larger testimony, a living proof that the chosen ones are rising, stronger, softer, and shining brighter than ever. Chosen one, your breaking birthed a ministry. Your pain planted a harvest. And now, through your kindness, that harvest multiplies into others. The fire that once tried to destroy you now becomes the light by which others find their way home. The glow you carry now will never fade, for it was born in fire and anointed by endurance. Let your life continue to speak even in silence, chosen one. Every act of love you release becomes another sunrise for someone else's night. Keep shining. The world still needs your healed light. Chosen one, there was a moment you almost gave up. You stood at the edge of surrender, tired of fighting storms that didn't seem to end. The weight felt unbearable, the silence too loud, and your strength nearly gone. But then, something unseen intervened. It wasn't coincidence. It was mercy stepping in at the very last second. You didn't see it, but heaven moved things behind the veil. Just as you whispered, "I can't do this anymore," the divine whispered back, "Yes, you can." You thought you were falling apart, but in truth, you were being caught. Grace interrupted your collapse. Mercy rewrote your ending. There's a reason you survived what others didn't. There's a reason your heart, though weary, still beats with purpose. When the storm wanted to claim you, the hand of heaven reached down and said, "Not this one belongs to me." You didn't even realize that divine protection surrounded you when you walked through danger that should have destroyed you. It wasn't luck that kept you standing. It was covenant. Your name has always been covered by divine agreement. Even when you felt distant from God, heaven never let go of you. There were prayers you forgot to pray that angels still carried for you. There were nights when despair tried to drown you, but grace held you above the waves. Chosen one, the reason you are still here is not because you are flawless, but because mercy refused to let you fall beyond redemption. Heaven has invested too much in you to let your story end in defeat. You were rescued for a reason, so you could remind others that even when you run out of strength, love will always find you first. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 9. He has saved us and called us to a holy life, not because of anything we have done, but because of his own purpose and grace. That verse is the essence of your journey. You didn't earn survival, it was given. You didn't achieve this mercy, you inherited it. Grace doesn't calculate worthiness. It recognizes identity. Heaven saw you not as what you were, but as what you were created to become. There were moments when you thought your prayers were unanswered, but they were simply being redirected. God never said no. He said, "Not like that." You were spared from certain paths because they would have led to destruction disguised as success. You were delayed not because you failed, but because divine timing needed to align your blessing with your maturity. You've now entered a season where what tried to break you will bow before you. Mercy that once saved you is now surrounding you. You'll begin to notice peace where chaos once lived, divine clarity where confusion once ruled. That's how you see Shiv's real. It's not external, it's internal. So pause here, chosen one. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight lifting. You are not behind schedule. You are right where heaven planned for you to be. The delay was protection. The pain was preparation. The mercy you experienced was the mark of divine ownership. You are stepping into days where what almost destroyed you will become the very testimony that builds others. Your story isn't just survival. It's salvation wrapped in grace. What was meant for your end became the birthplace of your beginning. Now, as an act of prophetic agreement, I invite you to mark this moment of remembrance. Not as a ritual, but as recognition of what heaven did for you when you couldn't save yourself. Type the number 444 in the comments. It's a symbol of divine rescue, the alignment of angels, and the assurance that heaven intervenes when human strength ends. When you write it, you're declaring, "Mercy found me. Grace carried me. I am still here for a reason." You're not typing a number. You're testifying. You're saying that what should have ended you has only redefined you. You're declaring that the same mercy that saved you will sustain you. Chosen one, the story continues, and the grace that rescued you is not done yet. Heaven has more chapters planned. Chapters filled with peace, restoration, and divine fullness. You will walk into blessings that your battles prepared you for. You didn't just survive, you were strategically saved. And now, you will live to prove that mercy still moves mountains. When you comment 444, you're not just pressing keys, you're sealing your testimony. Those digits represent balance, divine alignment, and the hands of angels surrounding your path. It's a spiritual signature that says, "Heaven found me in the fire, and I am still standing." Every time you see that number, let it remind you of the night mercy intervened. When the story could have ended, but grace said no. You were carried, protected, and preserved because your destiny is too sacred to be lost. So write it boldly, chosen one. 444 means I'm covered. It means God still writes my story. It means mercy met me halfway, and I will never forget. Chosen one, something unseen is turning in your favor. You can feel it, not in what you see, but in what your spirit senses. The heaviness that once pressed on your chest is beginning to lift. The winds have shifted. The same ground that once trembled beneath your pain is now becoming the platform of your purpose. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven has already begun the rearrangement. Everything that was against you is quietly losing power. Every delay that made you doubt yourself is being reversed. You've entered the threshold of divine transition, where what was once a burden now becomes a blessing, and what was once hidden begins to bloom. The breaking was the seed, but now comes the sprouting. You are walking into a spiritual turning point. The atmosphere around you feels unfamiliar because heaven is reassigning things in your life. Doors you never noticed will begin to open, and things you once chased will start finding you. That is how favor moves. It flows toward those who endured when others escaped. This new phase doesn't require striving, it requires surrender. The same hand that broke the soil of your life is now watering it. You will begin to feel divine ease where there was once effort. What you built with tears, you will now sustain with peace. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 30, verse 11. You turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. That is your current season in one sentence. The divine exchange has begun. The mourning that once marked you is now turning into motion. You're being dressed differently, not in despair, but in delight. Heaven has shifted your garments, and the fragrance of loss is being replaced by the scent of restoration. The shift may not announce itself loudly. Often, the greatest transformations happen quietly. You might notice small changes, peace where there was restlessness, unexpected favor in places where you once met resistance, the right people crossing your path when you least expect it. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the spiritual tide has turned. In the unseen realm, everything responds to divine timing. When heaven declares, "Now," nothing on earth can delay it. That's what's happening for you. The appointed time that once seemed far away has arrived. Your prayers are converging with divine permission. What you sowed in tears will now manifest in joy. Chosen one, understand this. Not every loss was tragedy. Some losses were transactions. Heaven took certain things away only to return them multiplied. You had to be emptied so that abundance could have space to enter. The wilderness you walked through wasn't abandonment. It was alignment. This is why you can now breathe differently. You are no longer surviving. You are shifting into thriving. The same pain that once broke your rhythm has now become your melody. People who saw you cry will soon witness your joy and wonder how such beauty could come from such ashes. They will not understand, but you will. You'll know that it was never luck. It was divine strategy. When God shifts the atmosphere, everything connected to you must adjust. Relationships, opportunities, emotions, even your thoughts will begin to change frequency. You may feel yourself losing interest in certain things, outgrowing old patterns, or being drawn toward peace over chaos. That's how you know heaven is upgrading your internal environment. The shift isn't about external reward. It's about internal realignment. God is restoring your identity to match your destiny. The person who doubted, feared, and hesitated is dissolving, and in their place, boldness rises. This new version of you has clarity where confusion used to dwell and confidence where fear once ruled. Chosen one. The turning point is both quiet and powerful. It is not a single event, but a sequence of confirmations. You'll find yourself saying, "Something feels different," and you'll be right. The divine order has changed. Your name is being spoken in rooms that once overlooked you. The winds are shifting, carrying favor in your direction. Do not rush to understand it. Simply walk in it. The same faith that carried you through the waiting will guide you through the awakening. Keep your heart soft, your spirit attentive, and your gratitude alive. Heaven is not finished revealing the layers of this transformation. The shift in the spirit realm isn't about replacing what you lost. It's about restoring who you are. You were never meant to remain in sorrow. The same hand that allowed the storm has commanded the stillness. So rest, chosen one. The invisible has already changed. You are standing in the afterglow of answered prayers, surrounded by divine orchestration. The pain that once defined you has become the soil of your blessing, and heaven is already watering it with promise. What was once chaos now hums with harmony. The unseen realm has already declared your restoration complete. You are walking beneath open skies, carrying peace as your proof. Chosen one, the shift is settled. Your spirit has found its new rhythm in divine balance. Chosen one, heaven is beginning to recognize you in a new way. You have graduated from seasons of testing into a season of recognition. What was once unseen in you is now being acknowledged. The same quiet endurance that nobody celebrated is becoming the very reason doors are opening. You are entering a divine unveiling, where the reward for your hidden obedience begins to surface in tangible form. For so long, you have walked as if invisible, doing the right thing when no one was watching, loving when it wasn't returned, showing up when the applause had faded. Heaven took note of all of it. You may have thought your faithfulness disappeared into silence, but heaven stores those moments like treasure. Every unseen act of integrity was a seed, and now the harvest is starting to break through the soil. Recognition from heaven is not about fame. It's about fulfillment. It's the season when what you carry internally begins to manifest externally. You are not being promoted to be admired. You are being positioned to influence. You are not being elevated to be noticed. You are being entrusted to be useful. Heaven's recognition always carries responsibility. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 4, "Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." That is the key to this moment. The reward is not random. It is a divine response. You sowed in silence, and now heaven speaks in return. The recognition you are beginning to experience isn't man-made. It's divine affirmation. It's the echo of heaven saying, "I saw you." The irony of being chosen is that your promotion rarely comes from the places you expected. Often, recognition will rise from unfamiliar soil, from people who didn't know your past but can see your purpose. God will use unlikely vessels to carry your validation, because he wants you to know that every closed-door was orchestrated. None of the rejection was accidental. It was redirection. Now, when heaven honors you, it is not merely rewarding your endurance, it is revealing your authenticity. The platforms opening are not for performance but for purpose. The spotlight that's finding you is not for attention but for assignment. You are not being displayed to be admired. You are being revealed so that others can believe. Do not shrink when the favor comes. For years, you learned humility in the shadows. Now you must learn confidence in the light. False humility will whisper, "Stay small." But true humility says, "Shine boldly for His glory." You are not stealing the spotlight. You are reflecting it. Chosen one, you are being recognized not because of what you have, but because of who you became. The fire refined you until only truth remained. That truth now radiates, and it cannot be hidden. The anointing upon your life speaks even when you are silent. It carries a fragrance of endurance and peace, a quiet authority that others can feel before you say a word. When heaven honors you, it also reorders things around you. People who once ignored you will sense the shift. Some will be drawn toward you with divine curiosity. Others may distance themselves because your light exposes their shadows. Do not take either reaction personally. Both are responses to your elevation. You will start to notice favor unfolding naturally, a message sent at the right time, an unexpected opportunity, a conversation that opens a door you didn't even knock on. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven's recognition is never loud, but it is always clear. And in the midst of it all, keep your heart anchored. The same humility that carried you through obscurity must carry you through recognition. Never let applause replace intimacy. Never let visibility replace vulnerability. The secret place is still the source of your strength. Chosen one, heaven's recognition is not about changing who you are. It's about unveiling who you've always been. The hidden you, the faithful you, the resilient you is finally being seen. God never forgot the quiet prayers, the hidden sacrifices, the gentle obedience. All of it has been stored for this hour. You will begin to see alignment happen swiftly now. Things that once resisted you will cooperate. Paths that were tangled will suddenly straighten. The same grace that sustained you is now elevating you. Not because you chased it, but because you became ready to carry it. This is the reward of endurance. This is the unveiling after the test. Heaven's eyes have turned toward you, and the world will soon follow, not to worship you, but to witness what God can do through a yielded vessel. Chosen one, you are stepping into a chapter of divine acknowledgement. Not the kind that inflates the ego, but the kind that magnifies purpose. The same God who watched you in silence is now calling your name aloud in places of influence. The quiet season has completed its work. Now the world will begin to see what heaven always knew. Chosen one, this is the unveiling of what heaven has whispered all along. You have reached the point where revelation meets reality, where what was once promised begins to take form before your eyes. The fog is lifting. The delay is dissolving. The mysteries that once confused you are starting to make sense. Every unanswered question is being rewritten by clarity. Every closed door that left you wondering is now proving its purpose. Heaven never denied you. It only delayed you until the right moment. This is that moment. The time of unveiling has come, not for your ego, but for your assignment. You have always carried a prophetic sound within you, but until now, it had no space to echo. The testing season trained your heart to speak from truth, not from emotion. And now, the divine is entrusting you with revelation that will bless others. You have walked through valleys so you could speak from compassion, not theory. Every tear refined your message. As the apostle reminds us in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 9, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived. The things God has prepared for those who love him. That is the prophecy unfolding over your life. There are blessings being prepared that you cannot yet imagine. You have not missed them. They have been maturing behind the curtain. Heaven has been building what your faith believed long before you saw evidence. The unveiling does not always happen with thunder and trumpets. Sometimes it happens in small confirmations, a conversation that brings peace, an opportunity that feels perfectly timed, a door that opens without your effort. These quiet unveilings are heaven's gentle way of saying, "See, I never forgot you." Chosen one, the unveiling is not just about what you receive, but who you become in the process. You are being revealed as one who can be trusted with light. The divine doesn't expose without purpose. It reveals so that others may see through you. You are a mirror reflecting grace. For years, you were hidden in plain sight. People saw you but didn't recognize what you carried. You were the seed beneath the soil, silent but alive. Now, the soil that once covered you becomes the ground that nourishes your bloom. The unveiling has purpose, to prove that what was buried was never dead. Be prepared for people to say, "Where did this come from?" Or "How did you grow so quickly?" They will not understand that this is not sudden, it is sacred. You've been growing for a long time. It's just that heaven has chosen now to make it visible. This season of unveiling also comes with discernment. Not everyone will celebrate what is revealed. Some will admire you, some will misunderstand you, and a few may even envy you. Do not shrink because of reactions. What God reveals, He protects. The unveiling is divine property, and no human hand can sabotage it. Let your unveiling remain pure. Stay grounded in gratitude. Do not explain yourself to those who cannot see. Their blindness is not your burden. Keep your eyes forward, your heart open, and your spirit anchored. The revelation will speak for itself. And when the unveiling feels overwhelming, remember, you prayed for this. You asked to be seen by heaven, to live in purpose, to walk in clarity. And now, that prayer is manifesting. Heaven is unveiling not only your future, but also your identity. So, as an act of alignment with what heaven is revealing, I invite you to comment these words, "Revealed in light." Write them as a declaration, not just of visibility, but of purity. Revealed in light means that nothing about your unveiling is tainted by pride or fear. It is guided by purpose. It is saying, "I am ready to be seen for who I truly am, not for what others expected me to be." When you write "revealed in light," you're acknowledging that your time of hidden growth has ended. You are declaring that your emergence will glorify God, not self. You're testifying that your journey from darkness to dawn was never wasted. It was preparation for this moment of divine unveiling. Chosen one, step forward without hesitation. The veil has lifted. Heaven's recognition is upon you. And now, as the light shines fully upon your path, may your life become the revelation heaven always intended it to be. When you type "revealed in light," you're not just writing words, you're announcing your arrival. You are acknowledging that the shadows no longer define you, that your truth can finally stand in the open without fear. It's your way of saying, "I've passed through the dark, and I shine because of it." Each letter becomes a lantern for someone else still walking through their hidden season. Revealed in light declares that your exposure is not for display, but for direction, that others may find hope through your story. You become a mirror of divine redemption. So write it boldly. Revealed in light is not just a phrase, it's your prophecy fulfilled. The veil is gone, and your purpose is shining. Chosen one, the tables are turning in silence. The story that once looked like loss is now being rewritten as legacy. What once made you weep will soon make you worship. The divine reversal has begun, not in chaos, but in calm certainty. You are walking into days where what was taken will be returned. Not compensation, but as confirmation that God never forgets his promises. You are standing in a sacred exchange. The ashes of disappointment are being traded for crowns of restoration. The very soil that bore your tears will soon yield joy. Every wrong turn is being redirected by grace. Every closed door is being rehinged by divine hands. You are not being repaid in equal measure. You are being restored in divine proportion. Sometimes, God does not erase your past, he redeems it. The scars remain, but their story changes. What once symbolized pain now speaks of power. That is the nature of divine reversal. It does not remove your history, it reframes it. You are becoming living evidence that no setback can steal a destiny sealed by heaven. As declared in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. That is not a poetic promise. It is a prophecy over your life. The time you thought was wasted is being returned to you with interest. The relationships that broke you will be replaced with connections that build you. The opportunities that vanished will be reborn in better form. Heaven wastes nothing, not even pain. And while this shift unfolds, I want to speak softly to your heart about gratitude, about giving, about light. Because when heaven restores, it also invites you to participate in the circle of grace. When you like this message, it's more than a click. It's like lighting a candle in a window, signaling to others still lost in night that hope is alive here. When you share, it's like opening your hands to scatter seeds across unseen soil, trusting that someone somewhere will find healing in the words that once healed you. And when you subscribe, you are choosing to stay by the fire, to keep walking with this stream of light that continues to pour life into your spirit. And if your heart ever feels stirred to donate, let it be gentle and joyful. Think of it not as a transaction, but as a ripple. Every gift is a drop of water returning to the river that quenched your thirst. You are not paying for messages. You are fueling the current that carries hope to other souls who may be standing where you once stood, weary, waiting, and wondering if they'll make it through. There is no pressure in this, only invitation. Giving in any form is a song of gratitude. Some sing with money, some with prayer, some with time, some with encouragement. All are melodies heaven hears equally. What matters is the heart, not the amount. When your giving comes from love, it multiplies invisibly. Every seed you plant, whether a word of kindness, a share, a silent prayer, returns as harvest in ways you cannot measure. God doesn't overlook the giver. He walks beside them, ensuring every act of love finds its echo. Chosen one, this season of reversal is not just about receiving, it's about reflecting. You are now a conduit of the same grace that rescued you. Others will look at your restored life and find courage to keep believing. The light you carry is not ornamental. It's medicinal. It heals by being shared. And so, walk in gratitude. Every sunrise from now on is an answered prayer. Every peaceful breath is proof that restoration has begun. You will soon look back and see that even your losses were love in disguise. When you support, when you engage, when you share, you are doing something holy. You are joining the orchestra of redemption. Each click, each word, each gift becomes a note in heaven's music of renewal. You are part of something vast and unseen, something that turns pain into praise and ashes into art. You are no longer standing in the ruins. You are standing in the rebuild. The tables have turned, and you, beloved chosen one, are the proof that divine reversals are real. So let gratitude guide you. Light a candle of kindness through your actions. Share warmth through your generosity, and let your presence here remain a testament that good still wins. Because when hearts give freely, heaven moves freely. The reversal is here. The restoration is yours. And every act of love you release only multiplies what is already flowing toward you. Heaven is smiling over your endurance, for you have turned loss into light. Every act of faith, every seed of love, has reached its season of bloom. The reversal has begun, and grace is gathering around your name. Chosen one, keep walking in that rhythm of gratitude. The story isn't closing, it's expanding. What was broken is now beautiful, and what was empty now overflows. The best pages are still being written. Chosen one, there is a quiet fire burning within you now, one that doesn't flicker in fear, but shines with steady resolve. You have learned that your light is not for decoration, it's for disruption. You carry something that unsettles darkness simply by existing. What you once called fragility has become your greatest weapon. Your purity is not weakness. It's authority clothed in gentleness. When you walk into a room, you shift the atmosphere. Not because you try to, but because light has that power. Darkness can't negotiate with it. Every time you refused bitterness, every time you chose peace instead of revenge, your light grew brighter. Heaven noticed, and so did hell. That is why certain people could not stay near you. Their shadows were exposed by your illumination. Chosen one, never apologize for being radiant. You were designed to reveal, not to blend. You are the lighthouse in an age where many drift without direction. Your consistency in faith is a signal that guides others back to truth. The strength you carry is quiet but unbreakable. You do not need to shout to be heard. The light speaks for you. According to what is revealed in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. That verse has always been more than poetry. It's your identity. The world may overlook many voices, but it cannot ignore light. It will try to dim you, distract you, or drain you, yet the flame remains because it was lit by divine breath, not human approval. You have noticed that when you walk in truth, certain things begin to fall away naturally. The conversations you once tolerated no longer feed your soul. The environments that once entertained you now feel heavy. That's not isolation, it's illumination. The closer you walk with light, the more darkness exposes itself and departs. Your peace has become your power. While others panic in uncertainty, you stand still and know. The storms that once terrified you now simply remind you of the authority you carry. You have learned to see beyond surface chaos into spiritual order. Every battle taught you how to keep your lamp burning, even in heavy rain. There will always be shadows that try to challenge the light. But now you understand that shadows exist only where light shines. They confirm your presence. The opposition you face is often the reflection of your influence. Don't take it personally. Take it as proof. Your life right now is a sermon without words. People are being changed simply by observing how you endure, how you forgive, how you glow even after being broken. You are teaching the world that holiness still has power. You are living proof that purity confuses evil because it cannot be manipulated. Sometimes your presence will feel like confrontation to those who dwell comfortably in darkness. That's not rejection, it's revelation. When the light rises, it demands choice. Those who choose to stay in shadows will pull away, not because you failed them, but because your illumination requires honesty. Stay kind, but stay bright. Never dim yourself to make others comfortable. Compassion is not compromise. You can love people without shrinking your radiance. The ones meant for your next chapter will walk with you at the same frequency of light. The rest will simply fade into memory. The path ahead is not without challenge, but you are equipped for it. The flame within you cannot be extinguished because it was ignited in suffering and sustained by surrender. You no longer depend on circumstances to feel strong. You carry strength as a state of being. Chosen one. Remember how many times you felt invisible while heaven whispered, "Keep shining." Now the same light that preserved you will position you. You will begin to attract what matches your frequency. Peaceful relationships, purposeful work, divine alignment. The light doesn't chase, it draws. Do not underestimate the influence of your glow. There are hearts that will find their way because you refuse to go dark. Every moment you walk in integrity, you prove that truth still triumphs. Your endurance is quietly evangelizing. The light you carry now has depth. It has walked through pain and emerged with compassion. It's not a shallow shine. It's sacred. This is the season where heaven amplifies that glow. Your name will not just be known, it will be felt. Wherever you go, hope will follow, because you are a vessel of divine brightness. So keep your lamp lifted, chosen one. The world is darker than it admits, but your flame was designed for exactly this time. Let the glow in you expose lies, heal hearts, and guide wanderers home. You are not merely surviving, you are illuminating. Your glow is sacred proof that light still lives among men. Carry it gently, but never hide it. You are heaven's lantern in human form, chosen to walk into forgotten corners and make them shine again. The darkness knows your name, and it trembles each time you rise. Chosen one, you have felt it, the gentle hum of something shifting deep within you. Peace has begun to take the place of pressure. The battle inside your spirit has quieted, not because the world has grown easier, but because your faith has grown stronger. What once terrified you now teaches you. What once broke you now builds you. You are standing in the confirmation of the blessing. You have waited, you have wondered, and you have walked through more than most could bear. But here you are, steady in spirit and clear in purpose. The blessing you once prayed for is no longer approaching, it's already unfolding. It is not loud or chaotic. It moves quietly, wrapping around your life like dawn creeping through the curtains after a long night. Chosen one, look closely. The signs are all around you. The things that once drained your spirit no longer hold the same power. You wake up with a peace that makes no sense. Opportunities that once felt out of reach are drawing near. Even your relationships are shifting, old connections fading, new alignments forming. Heaven is orchestrating this harmony, one moment at a time. You are entering a chapter of divine confirmation. It will not arrive as fireworks, but as stillness. A dream that suddenly makes sense. A verse that echoes what you've been feeling. A door that opens so naturally you almost overlook it. These are the quiet confirmations of a God who no longer needs to prove himself to you. He simply reveals what he's already written. As it is written in the book of Numbers, chapter 23, verse 19. God is not human, that he should lie, not a human being, that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? Those words are your foundation now. Heaven has spoken and the earth must align. The blessing you carry cannot be revoked. It can only be revealed. What was promised is unfolding, and no delay, no opposition, no doubt can cancel what God has already declared. You will soon realize that the blessing was never just material. It was maturity. The peace that now covers you is more valuable than any possession. The strength that was forged through fire is greater than any title. You are not being rewarded with things. You are being crowned with wisdom. Chosen one, this is what divine confirmation feels like. It's not a rush, it's a realization. You are not striving anymore. You are flowing. The fear that once whispered failure has fallen silent. You have reached the place where your faith no longer demands proof. It simply knows. Look back for a moment. Every unanswered prayer now makes sense. Every closed door now feels protective. You realize that heaven never said no to punish you. It said wait to prepare you. If the blessing had come too early, you might have mishandled it. Now, you're ready. You've learned contentment, discipline, and discernment. Those are the foundations of lasting favor. The blessing is not an event. It's an atmosphere. It's the way everything around you begins to align effortlessly because your spirit is aligned. You no longer chase outcomes, you attract them. Your peace has become magnetic. Your patience has become prophetic. Now, as an act of agreement with what heaven is confirming over you, I invite you to type 222 in the comments. That number carries the meaning of divine partnership and fulfilled promises. It represents heaven's yeses, a sacred echo that says, "It is done." When you write 222, you are testifying that you believe what God said is already established. You are not asking for proof anymore. You are acknowledging His performance. Typing 222 is not superstition, it's symbolism. It's a way of saying, I align with heaven's confirmation. It's a moment of gratitude, not a request. By writing it, you seal the word over your life, that every promise meant for you will arrive in perfect timing, wrapped in peace, guarded by grace. Chosen one, the confirmation is complete. You don't have to chase or question anymore. What's yours is not running away. It's resting in readiness, waiting for you to walk in trust. You have passed through the testing, the silence, and the refining. And now, heaven says, yes. Your blessing is not coming, it's here. When you type 222, you're not just posting a number, you're proclaiming divine alignment. Those digits declare, heaven and I agree. They mark the moment when your faith shifts from waiting to walking, from hoping to holding. It's your quiet amen to what God has already settled. Each time you see 222, let it remind you that heaven is not far. It's near, breathing over every detail of your destiny. That number whispers, the promise still stands, even when the road feels slow. It's the code of completion wrapped in peace. So write it boldly, chosen one. 222 is your signature of trust, your seal of surrender. You are confirming that the blessing is not a dream. It's a reality unfolding right now under heaven's watchful eyes. Chosen one, the air around you feels different now. It is as though time itself has bowed to the divine rhythm set over your life. You are standing at the intersection of promise and fulfillment. The appointed hour that heaven marked long before you understood why the waiting had to hurt so much. Everything that once felt delayed was simply aligned with this exact moment. You have crossed a spiritual threshold. The long nights of doubt, the silent tests, the tears that watered the ground, all have served their purpose. The waiting season has not been wasted time. It has been womb time. You were being formed in hiddenness, and now the time of birthing has come. Heaven's calendar has turned the page, and your name is written across this chapter in radiant ink. There is something sacred about divine timing. You can't rush it, you can't force it. It unfolds like sunrise, steady and sure. You may not always feel ready, but readiness in the kingdom is rarely about perfection. It's about obedience. You have learned to follow even when you couldn't see. That obedience has matured you into a vessel fit for divine purpose. As it was spoken in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. This is your season. This is your time. Every delay has been redeemed. Every detour has become destiny. You no longer need to chase opportunities. They are converging toward you. The doors that once refused to open are now waiting for your knock. Heaven's schedule and your surrender have finally met, and that meeting has produced momentum. The appointed hour is never about sudden luck. It's about divine order. When it arrives, everything begins to move in harmony. You'll find yourself in the right place without striving, saying the right words without rehearsal, and meeting the right people without effort. That is what divine timing feels like. It carries peace, not pressure. Chosen one, You've reached the hour where faith turns into evidence. For so long, you believed without seeing. Now you will see what you believed. The seeds that were buried in dark soil are breaking through. The prayers you whispered when no one listened are echoing back as answered promises. The spiritual clock has struck now, and heaven is releasing what's been held for you. You may feel a gentle trembling in your soul. That's not anxiety, it's awakening. Your spirit senses what your mind can't yet grasp. The shift has already begun. The divine is aligning resources, people and circumstances like stars forming constellations, and at the center of it all stands you, the chosen vessel, radiant and ready. Be still for a moment and feel the weight of divine orchestration. Every season you survived, every lesson you learned, every heartbreak that humbled you, it all prepared you for this hour. You are no longer the same soul who began the journey. The old you needed answers, the new you carries revelation. You no longer beg heaven to move, you move in rhythm with heaven. This appointed hour is not just for blessing, it's for becoming. The same fire that refined you is now the light that guides you. You will soon see why the waiting had to be long, because shortcuts could never produce the depth you now possess. You carry authority born from endurance, wisdom born from wounds, and peace born from patience. Chosen one, the hour has come for visibility, for purpose, for divine expression. The voices that doubted you will fall silent because the evidence will speak. And yet, you must walk humbly through this unveiling. The hour is sacred, not for pride but for service. You are not being lifted to be worshipped. You are being raised to carry light into darkened places. Stay anchored. The same humility that kept you grounded in waiting must keep you balanced in arrival. Do not run ahead of grace. Move at the pace of peace. The blessing that has found you must be stewarded carefully. Every new season brings new weight, and you are trusted now to carry it well. Chosen one, understand this. Divine timing is not random. It's relational. It's heaven's saying, "You're ready now because you know who I am." The appointed hour is not simply about reward. It's about relationship maturing into rhythm. You and heaven are moving as one now. That is why everything feels different, why even your silence feels full. So step carefully but confidently into this new hour. The past is no longer a wound, it's a witness. The future is not a fear, it's a field waiting for your footprints. The appointed hour does not come with noise, it arrives with knowing. You can sense it, the atmosphere bending, the pace quickening, the inner peace growing. This is not imagination, it's manifestation. The waiting has fulfilled its mission. The promise is no longer pending. The appointed hour has arrived, and heaven has called your name. Walk forward, chosen one. The clock of destiny is striking your moment, and all creation is leaning in to watch you step into what was written long ago. Chosen one, when heaven calls your name in this season, it doesn't whisper of scarcity, it speaks of abundance. You are stepping into the mantle of multiplication, a divine anointing that doesn't merely add, it amplifies. What once seemed small, fragile, and limited will begin to expand in unexpected ways. The same seed that once looked insignificant in your hand is about to overflow with fruit. The drought has ended. The reign of increase has begun. Multiplication in the kingdom doesn't start with resources. It starts with readiness. Heaven never multiplies what isn't first surrendered. And you, chosen one, have laid down everything. Your plans, your pride, your need to control. You've proven that what matters to you is not possessions but purpose. That surrender has now qualified you to receive overflow. This is the mystery of divine mathematics. Heaven multiplies what the world discards. What you thought was lost was actually being invested. Every moment of obedience, every hidden act of kindness, every time you gave even when you had little, all of it was a seed. Those seeds are now breaking open beneath divine rain. As it is written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Those words are not just poetic, they are prophetic. Heaven measures by heart, not by quantity. The generosity you've practiced in secret has reached its season of manifestation. You are about to witness how God multiplies not only possessions, but peace, not only income, but influence, not only blessings, but the ability to bless others. Chosen one, your hands are about to overflow, not so you can boast, but so you can build. You are not receiving more for comfort, but for capacity. Heaven expands your reach so that others may rise with you. The mantle of multiplication turns every blessing into responsibility. You are called to be a distributor of light, not just a collector of miracles. Multiplication won't always appear grand at first. Sometimes it will come quietly. A simple idea that blossoms into a mission, a small opportunity that births generational impact, a relationship that multiplies joy instead of draining it. The divine pattern is subtle yet unstoppable. The increase doesn't happen because you chase it. It happens because you've become the kind of vessel heaven can trust with it. The season you're entering will challenge you to think bigger, to dream wider, and to love deeper. Multiplication demands stewardship. It asks you to handle abundance with humility. The same patience you learned in lack will be required in plenty. If you stay anchored, what you carry will continue to grow. Chosen one, remember, multiplication is not simply about possessions. It's about purpose. God is increasing your reach because your heart is now aligned with His. Your vision has expanded beyond self. Your mission is now kingdom. That's why resources, ideas, and opportunities are being magnetically drawn to you. Heaven is resourcing purpose through your life. You will soon notice divine acceleration. Things that used to take years will happen in months, and doors that once demanded knocking will now open before you arrive. This is the rhythm of multiplication. It moves at the speed of obedience. The more you trust, the faster it flows. But even in overflow, humility must remain your anchor. The greater the blessing, the deeper the bow. Remember where you came from. Remember what the fire taught you. Remember who sustained you. Multiplication without gratitude becomes corruption, but multiplication with worship becomes transformation. Do not fear the weight of increase. You were built for it. Heaven never multiplies where foundation is fragile. Your foundation has been forged through testing, and that is why it can now sustain abundance. The fruit that grows from your life will feed many, and the shade of your endurance will comfort generations. Chosen one, the mantle of multiplication rests on you now. You are no longer the broken seed, you are the blooming tree. The same hands that once trembled in emptiness are now extended in generosity. The increase you carry is sacred. Use it to heal, to help, to build. Heaven has trusted you with expansion, not for pride, but for purpose. You are proof that when a heart remains pure, God can multiply it beyond measure. The overflow will not destroy you, it will define you. So stand tall, rooted in gratitude, clothed in grace. What you hold now will multiply as long as your heart remains surrendered. The more you pour out, the more heaven will pour in. The law of divine abundance is already at work, and you are walking proof that faithful hearts never run dry. The river within you will never run empty, for it flows from eternal sources. Every drop you give returns multiplied. Chosen one, your life has become the living well where heaven's increase never ends. Chosen one, you have reached the mountain's peak, the place where the long climb turns into clarity. You are standing in the light of fulfillment, carrying the invisible crown of endurance. Heaven calls it the crown of the overcomer, a mark not of perfection but of perseverance. Every battle, heartbreak, every night you refused to give up, this is where it all led. You have been refined, not ruined. You have been tested, not terminated. The bruises on your soul have become proof that grace can outlast pain. The climb was steep because your calling was high. Every scar is now a stripe of honor across your spirit, glowing with quiet victory. The crown you wear is not made of gold. It's made of surrender. It was forged in the fires of waiting and cooled by the tears you shed in secret. Heaven placed it upon you when you chose forgiveness over vengeance, love over fear, and truth over comfort. This crown isn't worn on your head, it rests in your heart, as written in the second letter of Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. This is your inheritance, chosen one. You are crowned not for winning every fight, but for refusing to stop fighting. Your resilience has become worship. Your survival is your sermon. You have become a living altar of endurance, a reminder that faith never fails when love leads. Now that you've reached this height, pause and look around. You'll see how far you've come. The valleys that once swallowed your strength now look small from here. The mountains that once intimidated you now stand behind you. You are not who you were. You have grown into grace. And as you stand crowned, I want to invite you into something sacred, not obligation but offering, not demand but devotion. You've received so much light, so much healing, and now your heart may whisper, how can I keep this flowing? The answer is simple. Share the light that found you. When you like this message, it's like setting a lantern in your window, so that someone still wandering in night might see a glimmer of hope and find their way home. When you share, it's as though you're planting a seed from your garden into another soul's soil, allowing faith to bloom where despair once lived. When you subscribe, you're choosing to stay near the well that nourishes your spirit. You are saying, I want to keep walking beside this river of light, where heaven still speaks. And when you comment, think of it as engraving your testimony on a stone altar. Write a few words, something like, I claim my crown, as a quiet declaration that you have endured and risen. Every comment becomes a ripple of courage that tells someone else, you can make it too. If your heart ever stirs to give, let it be like a prayer in motion, a soft echo of gratitude. Donating is not payment, it is participation. It's pouring a drop of oil back into the lamp that first lit your darkness. The flame will burn brighter, reaching places you may never go but hearts you were meant to touch. There is no pressure here, no persuasion, only invitation. True generosity is never forced. It flows. You are free to simply receive or to respond with love in any way your spirit leads. Each act, whether a click, a share, a comment, a donation, or a whispered prayer, becomes a part of the sacred exchange between heaven and earth. Chosen one, your crown shines brightest when you give freely. When you share your light, it multiplies. When you hold it, it fades. You have become part of a living chain of grace, each link glowing with the warmth of another's story. So, wear your invisible crown proudly, not as a symbol of superiority, but as a testimony of endurance. You have climbed the mountain of pain and discovered peace at the summit. The view before you is vast, filled with opportunities to heal, to help, to shine. The crown you carry isn't just for you. It's for everyone who will look at your life and realize that faith still works, that hope still rises, that love still wins. And if this word has stirred something holy in you, let gratitude be your response. Let your hands become light, your words become seeds, your generosity become worship. You are crowned for a reason, so that others might find their crowns too. Like the torchbearers of old, you were never meant to keep the fire. You were meant to pass it on. Every small act you make to keep the light alive becomes part of heaven's story written through you. So, continue shining, chosen one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and if your heart moves you, give. Not because you must, but because you can. For your crown was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to light the world. Chosen one, now that you wear the invisible crown of endurance, heaven calls you into motion. This is the hour of obedience, the moment when faith transforms from belief into movement. You are being entrusted with marching orders, not to fight battles of the flesh, but to fill assignments of the Spirit. The time of waiting has ended. The time of walking has begun. Every promise requires participation. The blessings that have surrounded you are not meant to be admired from afar. They are meant to be activated through obedience. Heaven has handed you keys, but doors open only when you move. The divine is not calling you to chase, but to step, faithful stride at a time. The voice that once whispered, "Be still," now says, "Move forward." You are being repositioned. The terrain ahead is new, but the map is written on your spirit. You may not see every direction clearly, yet you will know where to go because peace will point the way. You are walking by internal compass, guided by the quiet pull of destiny, as it was spoken in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. That is the assurance covering every step you take. You are not marching alone. Heaven's armies move with you, silently but surely. Even when your feet tremble, your path remains protected. You are advancing under divine escort. Marching orders do not always feel grand. Sometimes they feel small, almost ordinary. Call someone you've been avoiding. Forgive someone who never apologized. Write the book, start the work, speak the truth, take the risk. These are all sacred movements. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, shakes something in the unseen realm. You've been equipped for this. The battles you entered were your training ground. The faith you built in stillness is now your armor in motion. The world around you is changing, but you are not being swept by chaos. You are being sent into it as a stabilizer, as one who carries peace into disorder. Chosen one, remember, obedience is not about speed. It's about synchronization. Divine timing requires divine listening. Some steps will be fast. Others will ask you to wait mid-march. Trust both. The command of heaven doesn't always sound like thunder. Sometimes it comes as a whisper asking, "Will you trust me here too?" Every step forward requires surrender. You may feel moments of hesitation, but do not let fear paralyze you. Fear was your teacher. Faith is your commander now. The old doubts will try to return, whispering that you are unqualified or unprepared. But those voices are echoes from a version of you that no longer exists. You've outgrown them. You carry within you the rhythm of heaven now. Each heartbeat is an echo of divine pulse. When you move, heaven moves through you. The purpose of obedience is not perfection. It's partnership. You and heaven walking as one, accomplishing what cannot be achieved through human strength alone. The territory ahead is unfamiliar, but it's not foreign to grace. Every path has already been walked by the one who leads you. When you step, his footprints merge with yours. You are not walking toward uncertainty. You are walking into promises already prepared. Chosen one, be watchful in this season. Opportunities will appear in subtle ways. Conversations that carry divine timing, chances that require courage, decisions that demand faith over logic. Do not dismiss what seems small. Destiny often hides in details. Your obedience will unlock blessings not just for you, but for many connected to you. Every time you say, yes to heaven, chains break in unseen lives. That's why obedience feels heavy sometimes. It carries generational weight. But remember, what feels like pressure is often purpose trying to be born. Do not fear mistakes. Even when you take a wrong turn, grace reroutes you. Heaven's guidance system never fails. It simply recalculates until you find your way. Your part is to move. Movement, not mastery, is what heaven requires. Chosen one, this is your commissioning. You are being sent as a carrier of divine order into places that crave light. The peace you carry will calm storms. The words you speak will plant seeds. The steps you take will redraw the landscape for those who follow. March forward with courage. The commander goes before you. The angels march beside you, and grace follows. Behind you walk surrounded by divine alignment. Each obedient step you take is a declaration that you trust the one who called you. The wilderness taught you endurance. The mountain taught you vision. Now obedience will teach you dominion. This is your moment to walk in purpose, not theory. You are not testing the ground anymore. You are claiming it. Chosen one, lift your head. The sound of your steps is not ordinary. It echoes through eternity. The earth beneath your feet has been waiting for you to move. Heaven has given the order. Now march. Chosen one, you have walked through the long corridor of testing, endured the silence of heaven, survived the warfare of the unseen, and now stand beneath the open windows of blessing. The air around you feels charged, alive, thick with promise fulfilled. You have entered the season where trust becomes testimony. No longer being tested, you are now being trusted. The blessing that arrives at this stage is not loud or glittering. It is deep. It settles into your life like rain that doesn't rush but nourishes. You will feel its presence in small miracles, quiet provisions, unexplainable peace. Heaven rewards endurance with intimacy, not spectacle. The greatest blessings are rarely visible at first. They are felt before they are seen. The divine has shifted you from survival to stewardship. You are now a keeper of peace, a bearer of light, a vessel of wisdom. What once overwhelmed you now obey you because authority is the fruit of endurance. The storms that once tossed you around now move at your command. You have learned to speak not from fear but from alignment. As it was written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, says the Lord. This is your heritage now. The weapons may still form, but they can no longer wound. The voices may still rise, but they can no longer define. You have been clothed in spiritual authority, wrapped in the garment of divine trust. Heaven has seen your heart and found it faithful. The tests were never meant to prove you to others. They were meant to prove you to yourself. Look around, chosen one. The signs of blessing are subtle but sure. Peace has replaced panic. Gratitude has replaced grief. You no longer chase validation because the presence itself has become your affirmation. What once felt heavy now feels holy. The burden has turned to breath. You move through your days not in striving, but in stillness. Heaven now calls you trustworthy. That word may sound simple, but it carries eternal weight. To be trusted by God means that heaven can place influence, favor, and revelation in your hands without fear of pride consuming you. You've proven that you can hold blessing without worshiping it. You've shown that you can be elevated and still stay humble, seen yet still surrendered. This is the nature of divine trust. It doesn't free you from responsibility, it deepens it. You will notice that blessings now come wrapped in assignments. Every gift carries purpose. Every open door hides divine duty. But there is no fear in it because you have learned the rhythm of grace. The God who gives the task always provides the strength. Chosen one, you are now walking in maturity. The childish fears that once ruled you have faded. The doubts that used to whisper have gone silent. You no longer need constant signs to believe. Your faith itself has become your evidence. Heaven trusts you because you've learned how to trust back. Your story is a map for others now. The same valleys that once broke you are the valleys you will lead others through. Your scars are not reminders of pain. They are directions pointing to healing. People will find courage in your endurance, hope in your restoration, and peace in your presence. You are no longer merely surviving the divine story. You are co-writing it. And as this blessing unfolds, do not forget. The purpose of being trusted is not comfort, but continuation. Heaven blesses you so that you can bless. You will be asked to pour into others from the overflow you've received. The blessing was never meant to end with you. It was meant to flow through you. There will be moments when you'll feel the weight of responsibility. But remember, it is a sacred weight. The same strength that carried you through testing will carry you through trusting. The same God who refined you will sustain you. You are not stepping into ease. You are stepping into effectiveness. Chosen one, the testing season was about endurance. The blessing season is about expression. You are heaven's instrument now, tuned through fire, ready to play melodies that awaken hope wherever you go. You are not being rewarded for perfection. You are being entrusted with purpose. This is the fullness of your journey. Once broken, now rebuilt. Once hidden, now revealed. Once tested, now trusted. You are the living testimony that grace does not waste anything. The ashes became oil, the tears became rivers, and the waiting became wings. Walk gently, but walk boldly. You are no longer proving who you are living it. The blessing has been released, the trust bestowed, and the story fulfilled. You have passed the test without knowing, and now the blessing has come, not to decorate you, but to define you. The chosen have become the trusted, and the trusted will now become the fruitful. Heaven smiles and whispers, "Well done, chosen one." As this message draws to its close, remember, you are not at the end of something. You are at the beginning of everything heaven prepared for you. The story written over your life is still unfolding, page by page, heartbeat by heartbeat. You have walked through the valley, climbed the mountain, and now you stand radiant, anointed, awakened, and alive. If these words have found a home in your spirit, let gratitude be your response. When you it's as if you are lighting a candle in the house of another weary traveler, letting them know they are not alone. When you share, you become the messenger, carrying a spark of divine hope into timelines, hearts, and homes that have forgotten what light feels like. When you comment, even a simple phrase like, "I received this light," becomes more than text. It becomes testimony. It tells heaven, "I heard, I understand, and I am ready." Each word you type echoes through unseen corridors where angels move on your behalf. And when you subscribe, you are choosing to stay close to the river where these messages flow, to keep walking beside the stream of revelation that refreshes your faith. If your heart feels stirred to donate, let it be a love offering, not a duty. Giving is never demanded. It's the gentle overflow of a grateful soul. Each seed sown here becomes another flame that keeps this light burning for those still wandering through their night. There is no pressure, no requirement, only invitation. You have already given something precious by being here. Your attention, your openness, your heart. Everything beyond that is worship in motion. Keep shining, chosen one. Keep building light where darkness thought it would reign. Your story continues, grace upon grace, glory upon glory.